Dietrich Spinners podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Miles Pennell.
No, there's two hosts.
Yep.
So
say your name.
say hosts.
I'm not saying it.
No, there's two hosts.
There's two hosts.
Mars is one of them.
Yep.
I'm the other one.
And you are?
What is my name? Say it.
It's the Mr. Gary Forrestal
That's
here.
it. You remembered.
It's like Steve Wright in the afternoon.
It's a special day because
It is.
Miles is 30. Joined me in the decade. So
30 into 2020. I'm
does
like
it feel,
in
mate?
alignment with the decades.
so's my dad. My dad turns 60 next week.
Good for him. What do you want to get him for his birthday?
I've got him. I can't. No, he won't be this. I've got him Formula One tickets to the Grand Prix.
You better hope he's not listening. I'm not editing that out.
He's not going to. No, but his birthday will be well after he listens to this.
Yeah.
He probably won't listen to this, let's be honest.
How much were they? Do you mind?
About-
RRP, please.
No, I don't want to.
No, I'm just saying.
It's a one-off. It's a decade birthday, so they're about 300 quid.
Bloody hell. You must really love him. I have a great relationship with your dad.
Not really. No, I do. But we've had a special. We've had an interesting day. We both had massages. Haven't
Yeah. You're joining us post-massage.
I do want to point out before we go on with this massage
Not a
talk
bit, ooh.
that Miles and I do not get massages very often. And now Miles
I'll
has
tell you what,
Miles has some. But what I don't want to come across is like a couple of pretentious twats who just get massages.
No, well,
all the
I
time.
think that can be
We're at a
demonstrated.
spa. I'm sitting in the biggest armchair I've ever sat in.
This is one of the best studios we've ever sat in.
Yeah.
But we're not a couple of skag eggs because, what happened yesterday in the restaurant?
Oh yeah.
You want to say that?
Well,
To the listenership?
we turned up. We were a bit late actually for our booking, but
Standard.
We turned up. We just. It was a nice man, and he
Yep.
said, "Waiter,
was indeed.
waiter." And we said we got a booking, and he said,
Waiter.
He said, "Oh, sorry. Actually, it's collars only. Actually, in this place."
Collars only.
We were like, well, we paid a lot of money to be here. Not a lot. No, I don't want to broke. It's not. This is a one-off trip for us, but we have paid quite a lot because it's your 30th.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you serious? And he was like, well, yeah, I could put you in the corner maybe where no one can see
Yeah.
you. And he did. We put us in a window seat. So
I like the fact that you suggested that as well.
No, I didn't suggest it. He suggested
you?
it, and I agreed with it.
In the corner. He just...
No. He said,
I know,
I'll put you out of the way. Of
and
the
then he
other guests."
says, and then he said, I'm going to take away that slim chance now. It's none.
It's none.
Freak.
That's what he said. That's how he was.
Can we
none.
come to your party? Oh, I'll be honest with you, Lanky. Can I call you Lanky?
No, if it hurt me get in, it won't.
It won't. But thanks for
anyway.
saying. But hey, now
But
that
hang on, it was a nice. It wasn't as good as I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Tilney Hall probably won't be listening to this, but if they
it
are,
was no gilded
improve
truffle,
your-
but it
improve
was
your dinner.
Yeah, it was delicious. And Michelle, I like that you at the time when the waiter said, oh yes, I worked with Michelle Luge.
I said junior.
Junior.
He said no,
And-
senior.
Yeah,
I've
like
never
you
even
knew
heard
you were
of
talking about.
him.
Why
Yeah.
did you say that?
Because I was like, well, that's an.
Well, you were also trying to bond with him, weren't you? I think.
I like to bond with people I meet.
Generally.
who serve me.
Yeah.
No, but
Well, it sets a precedent, doesn't it? It goes, just so you know, mate, we appreciate all of your service and everything you're doing. Just so you know, we're not going to be tipping you. We're getting some interesting conversation with some with some facts that are vaguely true.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to bond with you, but I'm not going to tip you.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. In
We
life.
did tip the masseuse, though.
Yeah. How was your massage?
My massage set was really nice. Basically, they sort of oil you up, which I'm a big fan of.
It's not they. It's a she.
It's
woman.
one person. I prefer an
Yeah,
orgy
of
of
course.
masseuses. Is there such thing? Probably.
I think. Yeah.
Some
I think
niche
it's called wife
hotels.
swapping, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it was a hot stone massage. So once she's done that, she inserts hot stones
Into
your no, unlike your body, and then she uses the stones to like rub them against your backs to produce this. They're very soft, smooth rocks. They're not
What
stones.
are they like? Is it
They're not your Brighton pebbles.
No, but it's like what's it called? That like volcanic rock. Like
Yeah. I did have a look at them, but they're black in shape. They're kind of like the orbs, and she basically just rolls them and presses them against your back, so you're getting the full sort of force and texture of the rock of the stone against your back. So she's not really using your hands, but these have been like warmed like to a specific temperature, and then essentially she does parts of your body and then rests the stones on each of those parts of your body, and even in between your toes. Like she's got little diddy ones that she puts in between your toes, which is quite a surreal sort of thing to have these little things. But massages are one of the few. I find it very hard to relax generally in life, but massages just, they transport me to another world.
I found it hard to relax. I didn't have a hot stone massage, but I had a hand massage.
Yeah,
and
2 of them.
There were 2 hands working in tandem with each other, and it was really good. It's quite painful at points, but my mind was drifting onto the most random,
I find that
strange things. I was thinking about Raoul Moat.
What, the serial killer?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just started thinking
Raoul
about Raoul
Moat.
Moat.
What?
Yeah.
How he's doing? And...
No, I was thinking like, well,
can I come over for Sunday dinner?
How did he think he would get away with it? And like, how was it when he killed and they offered him some pizza, but he shot himself in the head? That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking working through the whole Raoul Moat story. I don't know why. I'm not.
What do you think that says about your personality?
I think it says I'm a degenerate person, and that.
Well, judging by your status in the restaurant sector, I would agree.
The waiter would agree to.
The waiter would 100% agree. But we're not here to talk about spas nor the experiences of 2 fat men having a massage.
We sound like such, like, I don't know. We're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the Ricky Gervais show. And you would.
Yeah, sure. But can we just,
for
any new listeners listening, can you just tell us what the Dietrich Spinners podcast is about
with
Miles Pennell?
You don't do that.
And there's also
Dietrich Spinners is about the XFM shows of Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, Karl Pilkington that were on. It's horrible to think 17 years ago.
17 years ago.
18. It's
18.
It
really?
started. And,
that's scary.
It's almost like it's our love letter to those shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice way of putting it. So this show is the 5th of October 2002, and this is episode 7. Now this is Karl is away for another week as his dad was admitted to hospital. So Claire Sturgis once again stood in as producer. It was an interesting show, and I think at the start of it, they sort of said, they talk about Claire getting this email because she said, "We got this email." I said, "Well, you're not very funny, and when's Karl going to be coming back on the air?" And I just want to say now that this is when I think Ricky and Steve fully acknowledge Karl's input in the show. They understand that he's an integral part of the show, that the show really is more of like the Karl Pilkington show rather than it is Ricky Gervais' show.
It says a lot about Claire Sturgis that she was the one who read out that email.
She's listening.
And she, hi Claire. She said she read out that email. She is sitting as a producer. She's a really good producer and a really fun person to have on the show.
That.
But she does she acknowledges the show is not the same without Karl.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not the same.
Yeah. There were loads of funny things that happen. Obviously, you do get more of a sense of like their sort of gentle teasing of each other, Ricky and Steve, but also they're really going
it's
for
not that gentle.
No, but they're really trying to impress her by, because especially Steve, like you could tell, like Steve, he's 29. He probably does appreciate.
He's been to Gavin.
He has been to Gavin in Westminster. No, in West Hampstead.
22 notes. I love the fact that it was £22, but he tipped up to 24.
Yeah,
like as if you wouldn't go to 25. Well, just call it 25.
He did that before when you were talking about the club story back in series 1, where he said, "Give you £2, maybe side yourself."
You didn't say it like that.
No, but that's how Ricky tells the story.
Yeah, but even not like that. But, yeah.
What's the biggest amount of money you've ever spent on a haircut?
Oh, probably not more than £25. No,
yeah.
I don't.
Is it a Turkish barber you go to?
No, I go to Johan.
Oh yeah, Johan of.
I went to a Brighton London Road, but I went to a Turkish barber before I met Johan, and I got in with him.
Were you fully bearded? A bit of a stubble?
No, I wasn't. I know I had a bit of stubble, but. They told me to put olive oil on my hands at night because they massaged my hands and they were like, "You need to put."
I think they got
this.
confused with you as a
a desert jellyfish. That's what they confuse.
or a leg of lamb. I think they were talking about.
Like that's crusty that you haven't taken out.
And also, once you've done this, put a bit of mint puree on your fingernails,
and
then you lick them off that with a little saucer. One of the funny things, because they talk about nudist beaches a lot, because they talk about Karl's being very...
That's funny.
Karl's really inadequate at the presence of, like, a nudie person. And Steve brings up this really funny anecdote of, seeing his mum and she's getting her knockers out on a French beach.
Can you imagine that? Being on that holiday.
Mum.
No, but can you imagine being on holiday with your friend on a nudist beach at 14, as Ricky says, the worst age.
The worst age.
And Ricky's friend as well did it.
And I agree, actually. I don't mind looking at nudie ladies I don't know. But I don't want to be looking at my mum. Or your mum.
Well, she doesn't want to be looking at you. I'm telling you that now. But that's true. But I wouldn't want to be looking at nudie ladies. And I don't want to get too lewd, but I wouldn't want to be on a nudist beach.
Would you not?
Naked myself, looking at other naked people. I just wouldn't. It would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you're not meant to look at them, are you? The whole point is you're meant to get an all over.
I think the man who approached Claire was looking at
fully
her.
Proud.
Yeah. No, he wasn't proud, and then he became proud.
Oh.
Anyway, I don't know.
I mean, that was a concern for me when I was having the massage.
That to me as well.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're going to have any form of... But the thing is, I am into the whole self-care scene, and I spend upwards... hairdresser...
Is there a healthcare scene? Is it a scene?
No, a self-care, I said.
Is there a self-care
scene? Yeah, self-care is basically like, it's good for your mental health. It's something that we can do.
I care for others, mate.
It's pathetic.
Got you a card and a present today?
Yeah, you did, actually. Gary got me a card and present, ladies and gentlemen. The card reads, "Happy birthday. Get a little bit drunk."
And it spells it Leetle.
Yeah, with a picture of Brent. And can I say what it says inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bish, which if anyone knows will be a reference to the show. It might come up later.
Yeah, maybe best not to reference it.
Yeah, you're true.
They know.
Yeah, good point actually. Happy birthday this month. No, next month. Where are we? Today, the Frey Bentos is on me. Much love, Gary. That's the first time you pronounce your love for me via card.
You notice I don't actually say it. What's in
and
that
I also
box,
got a little box, a little black box if people are interested in the colour of the box.
It's not an aeroplane.
It's not your little. It reads from Gary. You've got a very distinguished signature, may I say? With
I do this.
It's a large G, optional smiley face within the centre of said gravitas of the G. And this is a mug now that I'm holding, and it says, "All the best, David Brent, kiss."
Well, but it's you need to say it's got the picture of Brent that he provides to his Lonely Hearts date.
Yeah,
and he's outside. He's slagging her off, saying, "Oh, she sent a picture. They should have a
the
newspaper. She should have." She said it was like must have been 20 years ago, and then she says, "Can I show you what he sent me?" And it was like that. It's
a parody
so
of what is it? The Thriller artwork.
Yeah,
is it? Or no?
It's that kind of style.
Yeah,
it's a Michael Jackson kind of style.
Oh, that's great.
Where were we? We were
nudist beaches, weren't we? Nudist beaches. I would go to one.
There's a nudist beach really near me.
I know it is. I know. I peeped over the edge of it once.
By the way, just nothing to do with that. Could you get me some binoculars for my next birthday? That's sort of thing Steve said. Yeah, go on.
No, I would go. I think for many of my sort of teenage years, talking about ages.
But teenagers are the worst years to go to nudist.
Yeah, but not just that, but you don't really want to get naked. There's something weird about, like Karl says, there's something weird about the naked body in general. Like,
Karl has such a great view on these things. He's so wise in so many ways. And actually, about nudist beaches, he's got a really good take on it. He can express something like that better than Ricky can or Steve can.
Yeah,
like, it's just like, why would you do it? And the great thing he said, and because he texted Ricky, he wasn't on the show, but he said he's naked, right? All free and that, wearing a backpack, so he wasn't that free.
But I like it in An Idiot Abroad, where Karl Pilkington, he goes to Brazil. And he accidentally wanders onto a nudist beach, and he's just chilling out. I know. And he's just chilling out. He's got his lounge chair, and he's just relaxing there. And then a bloke with no pants comes over, and he just goes, For fuck's sake. I can never enjoy anything, can I? It's just the fact that it's such a big deal for him and he like proper brings his hat down.
That's the thing, because we all think it,
and then
but he says it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what Karl's so good at. And like I think Sick of It is ripe with those observations about life. It's such a simple idea, but you think no one's done it. And he's got the intelligence to sort of say, you know, most of us, you know, we're surrounded by people, but the relationship that we're most familiar with is the one with our own heads. And it's true, isn't it? Yeah. We all, particularly in that massage, like I was thinking, I very, very find it hard to relax and turn off generally. But with a massage, like I'm really, really relaxed, and I am just literally occupied in my own thoughts, my own like process, my thought processes, and I'm just thinking about stuff. And I probably wouldn't have done that had I not been like fully relaxed.
But that's the thing about a massage. It's like you can say that, but the thing about having a massage is it does relax you, and then it allows you to think of more relaxed thoughts. So you know, but that's the thing with Karl. Like he's always stressed, but he's very relaxed about what he says. Like he's a stressed kind of guy, but he's relaxed about what he says. He doesn't care what he says. He's relaxed.
As Ricky says, he's like, I think you've been stressed now since you're about 12. Like,
that's when you start getting bored. He's like,
but it's just because I've worked that long.
Because he was had a paper round. That's not working. But yeah.
Let's do our first feature of the show, and it's a new feature that I'm calling XFM in the Community.
Well, actually, just to give a little bit of feedback. Actually, I'll give 2 pieces of it. So that was my name for it. Mars came up with the feature, but I thought that was a good name.
Yeah.
Then also Mars said, "Oh, by the way, I was speaking to my friends. You know, they listened and they said it's good because you know, it's like you're in charge of the show. Gary's not in charge. He's a bit funny, but he's a bit funny at times. But
I
he's not
didn't
in
say
charge.
that.
No. You said he's funny, but like
Mars
is in charge because you did say that.
No, I'm joking. I know.
Okay, sorry, I got.
Gary said it was fucking hilarious, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm really hilarious. But Mars was like, I'm in charge. That's the main thing. The reason Mars is in charge is because Mars does a bit more prep than
I paid for the mic.
Also, Mars finds out, like, for
mic,
example,
actually.
the date that a show went out. Mars finds all that out, and Mars introduces the show because it's his mic, and he turns it on.
Yeah.
So I don't know
I'm
when
still
it's
waiting
on
that 50 quid.
No, we're gonna get another. We're gonna get a. Actually, we're gonna.
Will you pay for all that then?
Yeah, no, I won't. But we're gonna get a portable mic, handheld.
Because I really wanted
and
to.
we're going to do interviews.
Yeah, because I really wanted to interview that masseuse because I actually think now when like pressure's high, and she did say at the end, she's like, stay hydrated and remember to relax.
Yeah, but if you started to interview her...
No, I know, she'd be completely on edge.
Without making a fuss right now.
No, but I do like that sentiment. Like, you should take time for yourself. And that's what I was saying about self-care. Self-care is like a really... It's a really simple thing you can do. Like I was saying, with haircuts, I spend £45 on my hair. But that's not because I've got the money and I want to be all flash. It's because I like the whole process of booking.
I'm glad you said that because I would have had to say that.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is, but I like the whole process of it. I like booking it. I like going there. I like the ambience. I like the chat that I have. And I like the head scalp massage.
But also, you get a head scalp massage?
Yes, I do.
You have...
a very full head of hair.
If listeners... that we have some artwork that we've done where we both look very much like each other.
Coming soon.
Mars has much longer
presentation.
Hair. Mars has much longer hair than I do, so it probably does take more to cut it.
It takes years off me as well.
You're saying this puts years on?
Well, we were talking about age.
We're talking about age because Wiz is 30 and I'm 35, and we were talking about like, oh god, yeah, I've noticed bags under the eyes and. You know, I was thinking about, like, yeah, we're saying bags under the eyes and lines under the eyes, and Miles was saying, well, I haven't got them yet. And I was saying, well, I have, you know, and they've started to come up. And I was like, we were saying, you know, it sucks getting older. It's not very nice. You know, we're both 30 now, or 35.
Well, yeah, 35. Let's just clarify that. Gary, you're concerned about your eyes. What am I just presenting you now?
Can I read it? I haven't got my
glasses. You can. Don't say the brand, but maybe because, you know...
As if, like, L'Oreal, and I'm going to say it, Hydra Energetic Eyes Stroke Yeux, which is French fries. Men Expert.
Very much.
L'Oreal Paris.
Put it on your eyes now.
No, I don't want to.
No, do it.
No, I don't. No,
why?
It's fine. I don't need to. Could I just say, because you think you presented me with this cream, you're like, look,
it's not cream.
I care for my under eyes. I have spent, and I promise you, when I say this, I do not have a lot of money. I don't. No, I don't. But I spent a ridiculous amount of money on an incredibly expensive eye cream.
Did you notice the difference?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's a lot hydrating.
Give this to me. Anyway, this is something I've been using for a while, so let's do some live eye roll on.
This is one of our highlights of the show ever.
Yeah, isn't it? And we'll just assess the differences after. Gary, tomorrow when we do the next podcast, you can tell me if I look younger. Can you hear that?
Actually, incidentally, you mentioned an interesting thing now. We've recorded three podcasts in 3 days, but tomorrow's podcast is not D-Trap Spinners. We're actually going back to our roots, aren't we? We're going back to our roots, and it's Dutch or Otherwise, which is the podcast that is about us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that sounds arrogant to say we're interesting enough to have a podcast about. We're not, but we just like to chat. We did hospital radio on Coast Radio. Hospedia Channel 1.
Big up Brighton.
Hospedia Channel 1. Still no one listened. It was Channel 1. Literally, it was plugged in. Yeah. No one listened. It was like the default.
But imagine now in hospitals, like it'd be like Netflix and Amazon video and stuff like that.
That's the thing. Even they reference that on the show. They're like, oh, Ricky says an interesting point because he's like, hospital radio, but he's like, now everyone's got an iPod, and that was back in
everyone
20 years
everyone
ago.
could do a podcast now, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
At the same time,
we can't.
It's closing the fucking doors on us entering the industry and being really successful.
We can't do a
money.
podcast. We're shit at it. So
XFM in the community. Let's do it. Basically, this is where I'm gonna scout the community on an episode basis. And I basically just want to read out comments from other fans like us, and just sort of see and garner and collect the views and opinions of other people.
And when Mars says fans, he's not talking about. You need to be clear. You're not talking about fans of us. You're talking about fans of XFM.
There's few comments of those. Don't worry.
Even my dad doesn't comment.
This is from Peter Griffin 100 3 years ago. Anybody else think Claire sound like she would be attractive? Brackets open. She is, but I knew she was even before I saw what she looked like, just by how her voice sounded. Lol.
Bit offensive, but
I know. Just to say that about her voice, but she does have a very endearing laugh. I do love Claire's laugh.
Oh, Claire's got a great laugh, but I wouldn't necessarily judge her attraction.
Particularly when he says, "Yeah, the biggest knob I'd ever seen."
Yeah.
And then she lets out this biggest guffaw, and it's so funny. This is from Pudding Brain 2 years ago. And can I just say, the fact that this is 2 or 3, and we've got one coming up, which is 4, these shows have been a persistent presence in people's lives, and clearly shows that, they've supported people through, difficult times, I'm assuming. And
what is that? What are you reading the comment now?
No. This is my thoughts. But clearly they've been around a lot, and people love listening to them.
Yeah,
which is great.
We do.
I feel like I know more about Rick, Steve, and Karl than my actual friends. I forgot my friend's home address, but knew Steve used to live on Gaze Road, Rick used to live in WC1 postcode area, and Karl grew up in Manchester near Hagenbach's. Twiggies, Cordon Bleu.
Yeah,
I just think that's so lovely. This one's from Chutney 1 year ago. When you hear these episodes without Karl, it seems to me that Steve has a lot more quick wit than Ricky. I'm not saying Rick has none or isn't funny and does stand out. There has to be something to fill the void. And I think that's true, actually, in this episode. Steve does really come into his own.
I slightly disagree. I agree that... Actually, my take on it would be with the Claire episodes, that Steve doesn't have... It's not that he's more quick-witted. He's more eager to impress.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily... Steve is a funny guy, so whether Steve's on form or off form, he'll generally be funny. If he's off form, he'd be a bit funny. If he's on form, he'd be very funny. But when he's with Claire, he's not on form or off form, but he's just trying a bit too hard.
Yeah.
I think.
But I think we're all guilty of that when, I would definitely play up to a woman... in the context of
you
a
tipped
podcast
the masseuse
situation.
£5, so
I did tip her £5 because I think out of
and
everyone...
I felt guilty and tipped her £5 as well.
So she made a clean tenner off us.
Yeah, plus her wages, which would be about, well, I don't know.
I wouldn't want to say, but she said I asked her. I said, "Do you enjoy your job?" She said, "Yeah," and I was like, "I hate giving massage to my girlfriend. I hate it.
Yeah,
it hurts my hands, and also I'm not a trained masseuse. Lest my..."
You're not.
No, I'm not a train message. This one's from a Micron Weapon 4 years ago. In the silence, I can actually feel Steve getting genuinely annoyed about the Bowie story, which we'll come to. It's funny and a little bit sad at the same time. Ricky just flat out laughing at them. What kind of friendship do you have? Do you have to be able to laugh at a mate not seeing David Bowie and both be okay with it? In a sort of weird way.
Okay, I would agree with that. It's funny and sad. It is sad.
So just can we talk about the what we're talking about the Bowie story?
We'll break and then we'll go. But it's kind of like Steve. They always said, and I totally believe Steve in this. They always said if we get invited to a gig, and he didn't even say Bowie, Ricky would know that Steve likes Bowie more than anyone else.
Oh, he wouldn't like Bowie as well.
We'll always go. We listened to Bowie last night.
Yeah,
we? Drunk,
amazing.
So drunk. But, we were. Steve absolutely loves Bowie, but any gig that Ricky gets invited, he's supposed to invite Steve, and he doesn't. And that's that actually, it's a real that. It's funny. It's actually funny to listen to, but it's really out of order.
Yeah.
Ricky is really out of order there. He's genuinely out of order.
But this is David Bowie. This is like a musical icon, a pioneer, and probably it's going to be quite hard to see Bowie live anyway. The fact that you've got like behind the scenes tickets, and we talked he's seen him live, and Ricky was and Steve was annoyed at that. But he's talking about a dinner.
That was a few shows ago.
Yeah. But this one, he's talking about a dinner where they've got Richard E. Grant, Charles Saatchi, David Baddiel, all these top media players.
Yeah, but the ironic thing was that Steve only mentioned this story, and Steve brought it up because Bowie. He read that Ricky went to the Bowie concert, which he didn't, and I totally believe Ricky. He didn't go to the concert.
Yeah, that was just a press screen and thing.
However, then Ricky, instead of just leaving it at that, which I would do,
he goes on.
He says, "Right, just to get you off this track,
onto
a worse track, presumably,
a muddy."
I actually." We went to his house, and Steve just
with
takes
Lucian
it really well.
Freud scripts on there, like paintings.
But it comes back to that thing.
Damien Hirst paintings.
It's really funny. Last week I think it was, where Ricky says, we agreed very early and we cut it up that I would be earning, Steve would not be earning the sort of money that I would.
So I don't think he knew just how quite.
I don't think, but he wouldn't forgive himself if he let me, if he gave any back to me. But actually. That shows a real arrogance. And back in those days, Ricky had a mix of arrogance, but he also did it in a really funny way. And sometimes now, not all the time, but sometimes, he can, most of the time I'd say, but he can come across as arrogant, but there isn't the humour there. There's not the humour that there was there. Back in those shows, that is a really... If you think about it, think about what he did to Steve twice, because there's the old episode where Bowie... And... He's arrogant, but he's funny with it, and he says it funnily, and the fact he brings it up is funny. But now he's kind of lost the funniness, but got the arrogance still, and that's the problem.
It's just lost the nuance, isn't it? Just one more thing, and we will come back to this because I think we've mined it, but I would like to mine it further. And I'll just wrap it up now. This is from Clunge Smasher. This is 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Wouldn't mind seeing Claire on a nudie beach.
And, sorry, what was the name of that person that said that?
That was Mr... I don't know if it was Mr. I don't know the pronoun there, but Mr. Clunge, the title. The Mr. Clunge Smasher.
Refer to them as them.
Refer to them as that. Don't like that.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah.
And I don't actually like... I mean, look,
we're not a big fan of dirty language anyway.
But we're not prudes, but we are, like, quite...
Imagine saying that, like, just... In normal dialect, in normal conversation, that you go, wouldn't mind.
That's the thing. I was and you won't be interested in it, and I'm not going to talk about this specifically at all, but a Scottish football club that had a load of Twitter abuse, right? Loads of Twitter abuse, and they got, because they were doing rubbish. They said, right, actually, we're going to invite all of those Twitter trolls. We're going to contact them and invite them to the club and see what you say to our face. And they didn't say anything. Please. And that's the thing. You wouldn't say that to someone's face. You wouldn't say it to Claire Sturgis.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't. I wanted to get her on the show. But I wouldn't say it anyway, but we want her on the show. sat down in my huge armchair. That's
armchair.
ridiculous. We haven't earned enough money to deserve a place
No,
like
but
this.
it was £344, mate.
Each.
You know what was going from my...
Don't boast. It sounds like we're boasting.
I know.
We're not.
Well, we've worked hard for that money.
Yeah, but that's the ironic thing. We haven't. I'm a student. I don't even work.
Do you know what was going through my head, right? When we went outside for a quick break, all I was thinking was, imagine if we didn't have the key card in. And then my mind went back to when I visited you Christmas just gone, and we got locked outside your flat.
No, because I have never, ever forgotten my keys when I go out the flat. Because always they're in the door and I take them out as I last. But because Miles went out first, I don't know why, I just kind of assumed I didn't take them. And the door shut, before we got to the bottom of the... I was like...
It's like it happens in replay, isn't it?
It was like slow motion.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I don't think I had my phone. And Miles Googled key specialists. So we found a locksmith, and we found a locksmith, and she came, and there's two of them, and they couldn't get in they could not get into my flat.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I going to do? Just have to move?
She had the biggest she
was a nice person.
She was a lovely one. But you know what got me is they were wearing Santa hats.
Yeah. It was Christmas, to be fair.
I know, but I just like the fact that, only in Brighton would she'd like, oh, this poor bastard can't get into his flat, but we'll bring a bit of Christmas cheer to him.
Only in Brighton and Lapland does that happen.
Gary, I want to talk to you.
Talk to me,
I've
mate.
got a bit of trivia for this show. When Claire says there used to be smackheads at XFM, she must be referring to Russell Brand, because he was fired in XFM in the early noughties for smoking crack on air with some homeless people.
That sounds like a Shaggy Dog story.
Do you think?
Yeah, because it's so easy to just say Russ. I don't believe Russell Brand smoked crack with homeless people on air. I just don't believe that. But I do believe Russell Brand smoked a lot of crack,
but he was sacked from XFM.
Yeah, so were Ricky. Oh no, we're not Ricky.
Because they do joke about. This is good. Is Claire Sturgis drunk on air?
That's when it gets boring. No, but the bit Steve says before then is interesting. Steve's like, are there people who've they think they've got it under control, but they haven't. But
Gary, they talk a lot about irrational fears towards the end of the episode.
I've literally written down. Let me just say a bit of a production meeting on air here. I've actually written down irrational fear. ...
Can I be honest with you?
Polystyrene for me, because I was going to talk about that.
Gary doesn't do any prep for this stuff.
I do some.
He
prep.
writes
Look,
a few. He writes one or two or three notes on his iPhone, on his Samsung Android.
It's an Android Galaxy S10.
Yeah, and if you're listening, love some of your phones.
Yeah. And if Rolex are listening, you'd like some watches. But no, I have an irrational fear, Miles, as you know,
I know very well.
Because this mic that we're recording on now, it used to be encased in polystyrene. Every time Miles took it out, I had to leave the room. I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. I actually had to leave the room, and I'm not scared of I'm not scared of things. I'm
brave,
like spiders.
Oh, you're brave, are you?
Oh, you little slug. But I am scared of polystyrene. I hate it.
What is it? Is it the squeak?
Even you saying that makes.
I know.
I'm starting to sweat. But it's everything about it's a texture. I can't deal with polystyrene, and luckily because of people like Bernie Sanders, there's less polystyrene these days.
He's a bloody good man, and you should vote for him if you're an American.
No, Trump. No, that's a joke.
Do you think he will be the presidential candidate?
I don't want to get too much in, but I think just that drive-wise discussion.
Every time I say something to Gary about politics or the presidential election or American history in general,
I don't stop talking for 12 hours.
Yeah, but your disposition changes. You automatically tense up and you sort of squeeze up and you.
No, I don't tense up. I serious up.
You serious up and your face drops. So I know you're so passionate about this.
Yeah,
and I love it. I love that about you.
I think this is a good chat for Dutch otherwise tomorrow. So when we record,
we'll talk about that.
Anyway. But vote for Trump. No, vote for Bernie Sanders. Of course, I donated to his
Make
campaign.
America sane again.
I donated
All right,
to
there's a bit of satire
I donated to his campaign in 2016.
How much
They
did you pay?
returned the money, $27, because that was it. But they'd return the money because you're not allowed to receive foreign donations. I ticked the box saying I was in America because I pretended, but they must have known something.
They retracted your donation.
Anyway, this is discussion. Let's talk about it.
My irrational fear. Can I be honest with you? I went to see 1917 recently in IMAX big screen. It was about the First World War. Sam Mendes produced, directed, and wrote the script.
Was it good?
It was incredible, incredible immersive journey into the lives of two men who had to deliver a message to someone to pull off an attack.
Yeah.
But it was all shot by Roger Deakins' beautiful cinematography. He's an amazing cinematographer. And basically, they built this mile-long trench, and the camera basically tracks their every single move. And you're with there the whole time. You understand their journey as they understand it. And it's shot to be seen as one take, though there are clearly edits to be made between that. But you're literally in the space of 2 hours. You're with them. And it's an absolutely incredible film. What was my point?
Yeah, what are you talking about? What was your point? You went to see, this is Irrational Fears, so what's your point?
Irrational Fears. So at one point, the camera follows them
Blood
as
puppets?
as they go for a Punch and Judy show.
Yeah.
And as it's a barbed wire fencing, because they're going into Nazi territories within the north of France. And I actually had to wince and turn away because I was quite close. I moved seats later on. But I was so close to the barbed wire and I could feel the barbed wire entering my pupils. I've got a thing against sharp objects on screen. And actually, indeed, in real life, I can't... If you were to come at me now with like a knife, and I know you never would, like, well...
Last night we were nearly there, weren't we? But could I just say, a fear of barbed wire and... people coming at
it's
you
sharp
with
objects
knives,
in general.
Sharp objects. I would call that a rational fear. That's not an irrational fear. That's a rational fear. Polystyrene can do no harm to me. I'm terrified of. I wouldn't like someone coming at me with a knife, and most people wouldn't. But that's a rational fear, mate. That's not an irrational fear.
Yeah, but it's still something I'm very uncomfortable with. Like my eyes literally tense up, and I have
seeing
to like
it on
wince.
screen.
Just seeing
Yeah,
it on
it's
screen.
still
I think
a
it's because
rational fear.
I stood on a needle when I was 8. And I think that's what did it. And I'm still scared of, like, I nearly cried having the flu jab.
Oh, to be fair, I don't like having blood taken that much. I'm not that scared of it, but I don't like... To be fair, I always look away. I can't look in their arm.
No.
And the flu jab's fine. The jab is fine, but...
No, irrational fears, though, are interesting, aren't they? Because it's just... It's one of these things you shouldn't be... You can't really explain it.
Do you know, it's that thing. Many people, including you, have asked me... Why are you scared of polystyrene? I cannot answer.
But some people are afraid of buttons and stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, well, that's what they talk about in the show. But polystyrene again is so irrational, and obviously buttons are irrational. You know, I read it. Say you burn your hand on a flame, right? So there's people who burn their hands on a flame as a child. They're scared of the colour red for the rest of their lives. So if you were scared of flame for the rest of your life, that would be a rational fear. It wouldn't be irrational. But they internalise it as the colour red. Something must have happened to me when I had polystyrene.
Your mum rubbed polystyrene in your face when she was a kid.
Yeah, I don't.
Or maybe you were a pre-bought baby.
She was rubbing the au pair face with. No.
Maybe you were a pre-bought baby and you're wrapped in polystyrene casing, and they took it out and said, "Just insert misery."
They did keep a test tube in my room for.
Yeah, well, there we go. That explains a lot about your upbringing, Gary. Let's do our top quotes.
Okay, well, I'll start. I haven't got that much.
Can I start off with an honourable mention?
Yeah.
Steve, I don't bandy this word around, Rick, as you know, and I'd like to use the word genius, Ricky. I thought you were going to say I'll pay for that.
I've got it written down.
Oh, fantastic! He does as well.
Oh, hang on.
He has it written down alongside his list of porn recommendations for me.
I won't show you the rest, but...
Don't want to see it. Yeah.
Love it. So, brilliant quote. I would, because
that's an insight into Steve and Ricky's spending
habits.
I
love when Ricky talks about Steve's spending, and I love when Karl talks about Steve's spending habits.
But the 50p.
No, when he says, that's funny as well. But when he says, you'd have to spend money on holiday. So, but, I love this. Is a double quote. It's a double quote because it happens very close to each other. So they're talking about the nudist beach, and then Claire was like, "Well, it was kind of cut off from the land." He goes, "Let's just say for the sake of it, this guy had a lot of time on his hands. Like he said, like, could I swim over?" And then he says, "Well, could you see the beach?" And he's like, "Well, probably not." And he's like, "What about with binoculars?" Again, it's just a great. I love. It's a ridiculous.
And number 6, I've actually got quite a few.
6, bloody hell!
Yeah, I know.
You've got to go to dinner, mate. We've
I
got a
know.
reservation.
So we'll be all right.
Hurry up, go do.
Okay, go.
Quickly.
I'm going to take away that Slim. It's none. Freak. And number 5, and by male birds, I don't mean transsexual. I love that. That. That's such a
because
witty...
they do the cock thing, and they always got that complaint.
But it's such a sharp, funny thing to say.
It's brilliant. And I'll just do one of mine. He says, Steve says, we've had an email from Paul. It's normal. Ricky goes. But he said, Paul, I don't think this is Runa. I'm suspicious, as if he would lie about.
Yeah,
Paul.
imagine a guy called Gary, posting a podcast. And number 4, genius or little fella.
Yeah, good quote.
Number 3, he had the biggest.
Genius or bloke with hair.
Genius with hair. And number 3, he had the biggest knob I'd ever seen. That is a classic. At 2, and this might get you off guard a bit, strawberry scarf.
That does, yeah.
Because it's talking about a little red Corvette, the Prince song, and the fact he goes strawberry scarf. Well, Ricky's just so sharp. And my number 1, and I think we're both going to know what it is. Bit coked up. That's, in fact, actually, if you're listening to this, you'll already know this, but that's going to be the name of this episode.
It is. We always discuss the names of the episode, and we say and we literally take about 5 seconds. One of us will just say a quote, and the other will be like, "That's brilliant." It's not brilliant. Sorry, I don't want to.
Gary, before we wrap up, before we go to our dinner in our very awkward surroundings, very awkward surroundings, and hopefully the maitre d' puts us in a nice tight corner where no one can see that I'm wearing a grey jumper and you're wearing a grey hoodie.
No, I'm going to get changed into a long sleeve shirt, but without a collar.
God bless you, child. I want to add to our, and I'm calling this now the G-Chart Spinners Library. This is every week. Gary and I like to add 2 songs to our playlist on Spotify. And these are often songs that are inspired by the show, or they can just be inspired by our own personal tastes and things that we like, So this week, I am actually going to... And it's been a double whammy, actually, because yesterday, when we recorded the podcast, I added Electric Six, Danger High Voltage, because it's a fucking slammer.
Yeah.
It's a great song. And this week, I am actually going to add Johnny Cash's version of the U2 song One.
Yeah, it's a great
cover,
version.
and it's an absolute belter of a song.
I came across that version from the XFM show.
It's a beautiful rendition. I mean, actually, Johnny Cash, he does his cover of Nine Inch Nails' "Hurt."
It's brilliant.
And it literally draws me to tears every single time. Like, I just... But it does,
it does,
because the sentiment behind it, and also like the video. If you've ever seen the music video, I really recommend seek it out, because it's him and his wife, and it's kind of like his final goodbye to her, and it always makes me think of my granddad.
He lived a long time after that. He did.
But it makes me think about my granddad, things like that, and and I love it. I think it's a beauty, and the lyrics are so wonderful.
Great song.
Yeah. What are you going to add to
I
the
think
play,
I'll add
to the
All
library?
Around the World by Oasis. Now, I know I don't like to pick Oasis in general because it's like cliche. However, it is actually, someone posted this. It's actually it's something like 20. I think I might be wrong on this, so don't
I've been wrong
quote
before.
me. But I've never been wrong before ever in my life. No, but I could well be wrong. But I think it's 25 years since it was released, and it remains to this day. Almost to the day, it's 25 years since it was released. It remains to this day the longest ever number 1 single in Britain. So it's 9 minutes 38 seconds. Yeah, it's an incredibly long song. Wow. It's not actually if I was adding a song I really liked, I would add a different song. Next week I'll add a different song. However, because I saw that post and it happened to be 25 years since it was released, and that little fact, I'm going to add all the round. There's far better Oasis songs, but I'm going to add that this week. Let's go to dinner.
It's in the library. I've been Mars Pennell.
I'm Gary Forrester. What do
There
you
we
want to know?
go.
This
has been the-
do you know? Can I just say? I hate saying my name.
I know,
I hate it.
but this
you
is something-
no, hang on. You love saying your name. You love saying it's Mars Brenner. I hate. I don't know why.
I
just
do a
hate
little
it. It's so
bit.
awkward. Like I'm Gary Forrester. Well, yeah. Well, no one knows who I am.
It's
It
a nice.
doesn't matter.
I do like your name though.
No
It's
one
a
else.
good name.
It's from a German origin of
it?
Irish descent.
Interesting
Yeah, it's
facts
true.
here. This has been the D-Chart
See you
Spinners
later.
podcast. Please do like and subscribe us. You can listen to us on...
Don't bother liking and subscribing. It's not.
Can
worth
I
it.
do the final
No, I just wanted to
outtake?
say they shouldn't
You can like and subscribe us on Apple Podcasts.
Sorry, just gonna say, don't cut this. What I'm saying now.
Don't fuck
No,
me
no,
all
no,
up.
don't cut this. No, because I know, but I like to get you out of your rhythm. Because sometimes you don't like it. It's good.
You can like and subscribe us on Apple
Don't like
Podcasts
us.
and also on Spotify.
Don't
and I do
like,
recommend
baby.
us. We've also got a vast catalogue of other past shows. Please do check them out. This has been this has been the D-Chart Spinners podcast.
Yeah, it's okay. You're all right.
D-Chart Spinners
We're
podcast.
relaxed.
All right,
See
I'm
you
relaxed.
later.
Goodbye.